to the Proving Grounds, powered by Verizon. Yes, now I'm on the screen. Hello, everybody. We're back, and my casters are already here with me. As good job on the cast, y'all. It was a very intense game, number one. But for a little bit of reprieve, for a little bit of break, I've got a fun little segment here called Yordle, and it is a absolutely entirely by itself idea nobody has come up before, because you all are going to guess for me a word. You're going to have 5 guesses. It's going to be a 5-letter word. And you've told me before that you want to go back and forth on the guesses and then come back and collaborate at the last one. So, Jolly, I'm going to put you on the spot first. So, the word I have chosen has something to do with the series itself. I'm not going to say it has anybody's name or anything like that, but it just has a theme to something along the lines of this series. So, let you get your first guess in. The key word to get your guess is lock it in. So once you're ready, you lock it in and you're ready to go. We'll see if you get anything right. Again, it is green if the letter is in the right place and the right letter. It's yellow if it's the right letter, the wrong place. And it's going to be gray if it's neither.
Oh, look at all those cute Yordles.
All right, I'm going to start it out with, I feel like Harry is a good place to start. You got 3 vowels in there, right? H-A-E-R-I.
That's really good.
Knock some of those out of the way.
Yeah, I like it. All right, so we're going to just lock in Harry.
I mean, I've never played this game. But
at all. Yeah, never. Never whatsoever. All the vowels, for some reason. There's no rhyme or reason. So we're going to lock that one in and see what you get. I feel like it's going to come up with some good ends, as we do have 3 yellow boxes. Smacks, you're ready for the layup. You're ready for the smackdown. You're coming in with the second guess. What do you got? You got a lot to work with here.
Okay. Can I see the board again? I wanna study up on these letters here that I've got, just real quick. Okay. Let's do... I want to keep the same letters and try some other ones. Let's do react.
All right. We'll see react locked in.
Yes,
that's
locked in.
That's going to change anything else a little bit. Maybe switching those letters around might actually end up in a little bit of something. I think you're edging closer to it, as you got 3 in the right place. Now you just got to get the last 2. Jolly, it's up to you.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I didn't see a rise, but for some reason the word realm is the one that is the only thing. It's the only thing that's popping into my head right now, honestly. And let's throw an L and an M in there. They haven't been used yet. We're gonna try realm.
All right, we're gonna lock it realm and see if that's gonna end up in any aces here for the squad. I don't know if it's going to be. As we see that lock in, it is not. So no L or M. Smacks, it's back to you.
Well, I've got a lot to follow up on. I feel like I was pretty close with React right away. What about reads? R-E-A-D-S.
Yeah, that would have been my next. Yep.
What was the word?
Reads. I'm locking in reads.
Okay. Let's see what we got. If reads is going to be the solution here to the puzzle. You only got 1 guess after this. You got 1 more.
If it's not ready, I swear
it's gotta be
I'm
ready.
gonna lose
All
it.
right, well, hey, perfectly, because
agree,
the
right?
5th guess is you guys collaborating.
Yeah,
so you both say ready. Let's see if that's going to be it. It might have taken all 5 guesses, but you guys are ready for this series. And that is going to be the Yordle of the day, because Team Liquid is ready. They are ready to take it to Proving Grounds. They are ready to come in with a vengeance here for last split. And I think it's absolutely incredible all in all, because this team just looks like they are on top of the world in terms of like with their decision making in the mid to late game and how they can kind of close out games, even when it looks a little bit iffy, Jolly.
Oh, it's so true. And the beginning, especially considering how much crowd control we had on the side of FlyQuest, how much frontline capability we had. Sure, there's a lot of initiation, a lot of speed on the side of Team Liquid, but you have to consider all the factors. And so things looked good as the game went on. That was a 40+ minute game. And even at the end, it was still Team Liquid that was just able to burst down everybody on the side of FlyQuest Academy.
Honestly, it fell faster than that with how much action we got in those team fights. 40+ minutes, that's crazy. It went by very quickly. I had a nice time here with you, Jolly. I'm liking this series as well. And for Team Liquid, after that last game, you can really tell that they've got someone on their team saying in the comms, don't panic. because there were a few times where those team fights didn't quite go their way, and a few times where Harry got picked off on the Ahri, and he was doing very well with the Medjai Soul Stealer, of course. But somebody somewhere in those comms is like, don't panic, we're gonna be okay. We're better in the team fights than them. We're better players. We're just gonna do it. And they ended up being right in the end for that, at least game one.
I was gonna ask, what's the temperature check for the Ayla stand over there? Are you feeling okay? Are you feeling, second best support in NA? Are we on that level? Is Core JJ correct?
Yes, the Ayla fandom goes strong over here on the right side of the screen.
Are you called an A-lister? Is that A-lister?
Wow,
Is that
I love it. You know exactly how to win my heart, Jolly. Oh my goodness. But in all actuality, I got to turn the table over to FlyQuest because it is a rough game to lose that one. Losing 4 back-to-back Infernal Dragons. Elder Dragons would be a lot rougher. But Infernal Dragons, it's really rough to lose a game like that because you're losing those big advantages that you set yourself up for by getting those first 2 early dragons.
And not only was it, all of these dragons that ended up going over to Team Liquid when FlyQuest wanted to kind of counter it, because there were a couple moments that they didn't decide to. The first 2 were taken without any response, any reaction coming out of Team Liquid. And then it was dictated by Team Liquid from there on out. I mentioned they were writing the script, and that's really how it felt, because even when it seemed like FlyQuest Academy was poised to set themselves up for a really good start, whether it's the fight itself or a move on to the dragon, Team Liquid, they were the ones that popped out with the damage, and they were the ones that shut down the members that they needed to.
It's actually incredible to see like the way that they shift their mentality in that game. But Smacks, I'm looking at you for a bit of a response for FlyQuest Academy, right? I feel like they had some good things going for them, especially still looking at the mainstay in Spyrax and Yuji in that mid jungle duo as well.
Yeah, specifically the synergy with Spyrax and Philip was really on point in a lot of those team fights. Their crowd control synchronization was top notch, and I do want to see some more of that from these 2 players. I was really excited at the start of the day to see Spyrax on an assassin, and I do still want that. I liked the Veigar. It fits with the Yordle theme that we were going for with the halftime show, but I do want to see some like Akali or something out of this guy. That's what I signed up for.
Yeah, I know, right? I think we all did. We'll see if we get a little bit of that spice as game number 2 is ready to go in this best of 3. See who comes out on top. Y'all take it away.
Thank you very much, Mazel. And of course, this is the last opportunity now for FlyQuest Academy to keep themselves in the upper bracket, because it is match point going into this best of 3 now for Team Liquid Academy. And that does mean that side selection goes to the losing team, in this case, FlyQuest Academy.
We've seen a lot of 2-0s in Proving Grounds so far. Too much for my liking, honestly, especially in round 1. There were far too many of those. But, we can buck the trend right now. We got some 2-1s on Thursday, and that is the same stage of the bracket that we're in right now. Of course, this is the upper quarterfinals, which means a couple of things. 1, if you move on, you're going to be playing against the winner of the next series later on today. And 2, it means if you lose, that's not too bad, because there's still a double elimination aspect of this bracket. So for FlyQuest, they may be on the ropes right now, but that doesn't mean they're on the ropes in the entire tournament.
Oh, for sure. And, these are 2 of the top tier teams when it comes to Proving Grounds Academy in general, in Team Liquid Academy, Cloud9 Academy, who are going to be in the next series. So for FlyQuest Academy, this is really an opportunity to kind of show what they have to offer. And yeah, you're right, Smacks. If you end up losing out on this, it's okay. You're not out of the tournament for good. You got the lower bracket where hopefully things will be a lot easier for you.
Taking away some more supports in this ban phase as we are in here for draft number 2. Tom Kench, Karma, and Yuumi already gone. And, for Team Liquid, they did take the opportunity to first pick the Zeri in the last game. Now the FlyQuest are on blue side, it's a lot easier for them to ban that champion away. But no, it will actually be the Lucian. And this has been true for both teams. On blue side, they are banning away the same champion, likely because of the really strong pairings that it can have. We already saw that from Tomo and Diamond with Lucian and Nami. Looked really good in their first series of PG.
It did. I'm surprised at the Yuumi bans given, the popularity of Sona into that one. I've heard it's a free win. We have not seen a lot of Yuumi as of late, though, at least in this Proving Ground series. But it is going to be FlyQuest Academy to say, no, we will just take that Zeri for ourselves. We have seen Tomo pick that one up quite a bit. Jan, of course, that's kind of who we think of when we think of the current scene and the Zeri. So we'll have to see how they respond if they maybe make the same choice in that Xayah. It worked out quite well early on for FlyQuest, Max.
And with the way that Team Liquid just played the last game, and specifically the last game's team fights, playing against Zeri, you'd be playing directly into what she wants if they were to go about it in the same direction. And part of that is because they had Zeri on their own team, right? So they want to have these long, drawn-out team fights. This time, they want the exact opposite of that, and you can see that with this Ahri and Viego. These are big burst champions that want to reset all throughout the fight and keep bursting people one after another. One thing that I do like seeing when you have reset champions on your team is more burst packed in. When you see those two as the mid lane and the jungler, it can be a little difficult to do that from bot lane and top lane specifically, but Bradley's pool, I've got a lot of faith in to actually bring a lot of that to light here in this second game.
I like the kind of handshake back and forth between Armeo and Yuji to say, you know what? We can just swap right here. It is still going to be that Veigar selection for Spyrax going into Harry's Ahri. It wasn't incredibly successful for him, but it is a good matchup in terms of that crowd control, that ability for some initiation, and bursty damage. But still, mobility currently in favor somewhat, just slightly smacks for TL Academy.
There are two outcomes that I feel like must have gone on before this game happened. One, either we have the names wrong and Team Liquid is playing blue, or two, something happened in the Academy scrim circle with Nocturne, because this champion was not seen at all before this, but now in this series, all of a sudden, we're getting it on both sides of the rift. This is absolutely hysterical. More Nocturne this time around. Seems to be the direct answer to Viego alongside Spyrax's Veigar answer into the Ahri. Really interesting stuff going on in this draft. I wonder if this is going to bleed over to the other series.
We'll have to see. Yeah, that's a good question. Maybe everybody agreed. If you're on blue, you're going to be taking the Nocturne here. Maybe we actually might see it show up in the bans. But now, okay, we heard that one previous time Nocturne was brought out here in Proving Grounds, it did not go well. So that's at least a 50% win rate, right, on this champion out of the two appearances that he's made so far. We'll see if FlyQuest can transition that in either direction. Of course, Team Liquid Academy looking to close this one out in a sweep. They are going to ban away that chase, so it still feels more and more like maybe the names are swapped, but that is absolutely not the case. Renata Glask, of course, as we know, that is a big pickup, particularly Diamond, who I believe was the very first one to show that champion off here in Proving Grounds.
Yeah, I know Rafa's been getting some Renata tips from Diamond as well. He's been telling me all about it. Diamond apparently really likes the Renata into Nautilus matchup a lot, and he said that, like, people who pick the Anchorman into him are like sinning or something. They're like
something about Mordor, the Anchorman, something about burning in the fires of Mordor of Renata Glask, you know, something along those lines. It was very dramatic, and yeah, I mean, hey, you know what? If you got that much confidence in it, it's a bit of a surprise that it's being banned out on the other side, unless, of course, FlyQuest is looking to pick up that Anchorman himself.
Yeah, apparently less confident without Renata Glask to play against Nautilus, as FlyQuest are going to ban that one away. This does leave open Rakan, and it is actually going to be picked. I was going to say that I didn't like it, because playing against Veigar as Rakan is my least favorite thing in all of League of Legends, only second to Shaco, the champion. So I do not feel for Ayla in this game. This is going to be very difficult. The event horizon makes it so awful to play Rakan and make a lot of the plays you typically are able to with the quickness and all of your movements. So Ayla, he better be on his A game this one.
We'll have to see how it plays out. Maybe TL Academy this time looking for more early game pressure. We didn't see really any fights in the first 10 minutes of game number 1. And the matchup with this Zeri is actually going to be Lulu. When Zeri first came out, that was by far the #1 support that was selected with her. The additional shielding really works well and buffs up her passive. So I like that selection. And FlyQuest has kind of taken the same strategy that Team Liquid Academy took in the last game of just saying, we're going hyper aggressive. We're going to do a lot of damage. I know some people were requesting the Scion. Well, there you go. It's been locked in, and Philip is definitely a comfortable player on this champ.
Yeah, the Scion, for Philip, he hasn't really played a lot of tanks, and outside of Scion, there haven't been any of them all throughout the entire split. But he did most recently play this in Proving Grounds already, and he has been practicing this a bit more. This is something that I actually expected a bit of against Bradley, considering he does have a very volatile champion pool. Case in point, the Trundle here as the counter pick. But Philip, he's typically going to be playing a lot of these bruisers, as shown by his games in the regular season for Academy. This is a bit of a difference from what Philip is really comfortable on, and that's been shown on this champion, and also the Gragas from last game too. He's really trying to make sure that he's a frontliner, a disruptor for this team, and most importantly, trying to keep Bradley at bay, which, yeah, might be difficult now that there's Trundle here.
Yeah, we'll have to see too. And that was the counter pick ability for Bradley, which you always like to get if you are Team Liquid Academy. I do know that in the last couple of weeks, Philip has definitely been kind of trying to focus on this side more often. I think we saw that, a week or two ago up against Wildcard Academy, where they were able to get a 2-0 against that team. Or Wildcard Aces, sorry, no Academy on that one. Wildcard Aces, it's an A, it's always confusing. But yeah, that pain trait, it's definitely going to come into clutch, because when we're talking about frontline and initiation, that is a big chunk that will be coming here from the side of FlyQuest Academy. And of course, having the charm, having the Trundle with the ability to engage with the pillar, the quickness on the backside. If Team Liquid is able to find one of these big initiations, it's going to be difficult for FlyQuest Academy to kind of disengage from these fights.
Yeah, Trundle to me doesn't really feel like a big team fighter most of the time. You got the pillar, which is some pretty good utility in that aspect of the game, but for this champion, I'm really expecting something like that Hull Breaker to come out so that he can just stay in the side lane the entire time. I wonder if Bradley feels the same way. He does have lethal tempo in this game, as we are going to be loading in pretty soon, and you're going to be able to see it. This means that he is more focused on that aspect of the game as well, trying to go for that 1v1, because, I mean, lethal tempo, it works in those team fights, but you are playing that melee champion, so it feels like something that is more directed at the Scion specifically.
And that's, I mean, just aggressive, and that's what we expect to see from Bradley, man. Again, previously, the newest addition to this team here for Team Liquid Academy, previously the mid laner for Bethany College. And when we talk about aggressive mid laners, Bradley was certainly up there. So kind of falling back to this top lane position and utilizing some of these counter picks has been exceptional for him, and not going in a little bit too far, which has been a struggle for him in the past. We're going to have to see how these swap overs adjust the compositions, though, because Team Liquid's still looking to be crazy aggressive at the beginning of the game.
We're seeing a lot of the same champions in jungle and mid lane just swapped around a tad, and the biggest difference here in the conjunction plays that you can have with these is that Nocturne and Veigar are both big scalers that don't do a lot early game. As opposed to last time where we saw the Nocturne paired with Ahri. The Nocturne... Yes, the Nocturne paired with Ahri. That champion can do a lot more with a more early game focused mid laner, and UG doesn't really have that this game, as opposed to the other side where Armeo is going to be a big bully. You can already see he's taking away the wolf. Very rude.
That's the only thing you can say about that is rude. Of course, you got the pings coming out on the opposite side right there. So Armeo recognizing what is going on here on the opposite side. And, I wouldn't be surprised if we did just end up seeing a slow start. Yeah, you would like to get quicker starts, especially given who we've got in the mid lane for both of these teams. But if anything follows the trend of game number one, given that Viego was still on the red side, Nocturne was still on the blue side, we didn't see any team fights or any real initiations by these guys until post 10 minutes.
Oh, man.
And Yuji, actually, as I say that, Yuji says, yeah, eat your words, Jolly.
Yeah, I mean, Yuji's just struggling to keep up in the jungle, it feels like right now. Luckily for him, his bot lane did just push in that wave, and they can re-enter the jungle, at least temporarily, to try to steal away this blue buff again. Now that Yon and Ayla have finished off that wave, though, this becomes riskier.
Definitely risky. It's still Tomo that's on the front side, though. Trying to Diamond on the front side, absorbing any damage that might be applied there to Tomo. It is much more difficult in the first couple of minutes here. Ayla not having a ton of range, right? Trying to maybe look for one of those heroic entrances. Does have the capacity to provide some shielding with the battle dancing. And of course, once the game gets going, they have the little buffs that they gave themselves in this lovers lane. The lovers duo here in both Rakan and Xayah. And you know what? I'm just happy to see more Xayah stacks. I'm not going to lie.
Me too. This is, I mean, if you're free later, this is the duo that we're going to be playing in our games later. If you're down, I don't know. We might have a long day of League of Legends. It might be a time for a nap after. We'll have to find out. That last game was 40 minutes. So
Yep.
TBD on that one. But even if it's a rain check, we can do it another time with the Xayah and Rakan lane. Sounds fun. Looks fun for Ayla and Yon right now as UG is in their lane. They know it, so they can likely back away just fine here.
UG maybe looking for something. Does have the sweeper there. Ayla providing a little bit of proxy positioning. We can see Armeo gonna snag the Wolves away from UG's side once again. Just a rough move to make. There is still some solid pressure though from Team Liquid on either side. So if Armeo really wants to, he can make an early aggression onto the probably more particularly, you know, the mid lane or the bottom lane here. Or, oh man, he's just gonna continue to clean out this enemy jungle.
Seems like Armeo just has claimed this section of the map off. See if he actually is able to donate over to Harry. Sometimes when you're invading, you want to just smite secure it. And oh,
no
that was
way,
a disaster. The charm, it pulled the blue buff outside of the range. Oh, Harry, that was definitely unintentional, but it really screws over his jungler.
You can see Harry immediately walked away. He's like, that not intentional. Harry throws the charm, says, I'm not gonna get it, and now I'm not sure if Armeo's gonna get it, and that was the case. The reset, UG was able to get there in time. It couldn't be restarted, so a little bit of wasted time by Armeo, but nothing too drastic.
Yeah, only a minor disaster, you know. What is the Richter scale? It's like a 1 on that. It's not that big. It was definitely still an earthquake though.
Oh yeah. You gotta feel the shakes. Yeah, you feel the shakes on that one at least. And you have to be afraid too of Armeo moving forward, of already how invasive he's been. If you're UG, you gotta keep eyes on your jungle, and you gotta be sure to play some more defensive vision than you would really like to in the early parts of the game.
You definitely need to do that on this champion of all champions here too. You want level 6 as soon as possible on that Nocturne. And even though UG does have the same problem that Armeo did in the previous one of having to ult into a Xayah, he does not have to worry about the Veigar this time, as that is on the other side. Spirax playing that one. So less zone threat than before. This Nocturne feels like it'll have an easier time once we get into those late games. Again, this is a late game level 6 spiking champion, so not a lot of action to be had before that time, and that has certainly left something to be desired of the early game for FlyQuest so far.
I do like the pickup of the Lulu instead of going with somebody, you know, one of those tanky frontline initiators. Like we saw the Leona, that was actually the response there from Ayla previously when the Nautilus was locked in. And, you know, that is the way to do it. If you've got the charm, if you've got the quickness here locked down, which Rakan was banned in the previous game, by the way, in the second phase. It's actually going to be in the initiation onto Diamond to flash away to ensure that the Blade Caller does not come through. Means the FlyQuest, they've got a pretty good gank, but they just barely managed to stay alive.
Still feels rather favorable here for Team Liquid. They still got a lot of these summoner spells available, and UG sort of pincered into this brush. There's not a lot of ways that he can go apart from just fully out. And that would leave Armeo with the advantage here. Look at his.
There it is, the entrance coming through. It's on to Diamond, the first blood going over to Armeo, who flashes in. Harry is on the backside as well, and that means that the Spirit Rush is available. A nice polymorph to cap it off, and Harry will pick up the second kill of the game, the second for Team Liquid.
Yeah, good looks there from Armeo, who currently is playing Zeri on the side of your screen, but it is, of course, Viego. Really nice stuff to wait and be ready for UG. As I said, there's not a lot of ways that you can go after you're just trapped in that brush, and as soon as Armeo arrives and Harry's on the way, FlyQuest sort of knew that their time was limited on the play, giving over 2 of those kills to the mid and the jungler as well. It's going to make it so much more difficult for UG and Spirax to keep that scaling going that we know these champions want to do still.
And a bit of an advantage now for Team Liquid. Only 2,000, but at under 10 minutes, those early items do start to stack up, especially when you have 2 assists picked up there for Yon. And some good positioning as well coming out of Armeo as this game continues through. Really good response from Harry, and that's something that we have kind of come to just recognize and expect out of a player like this. Even with that previous matchup, there is no hesitation in locking in that Ahri with the counter ability.
And look, he learned that time. He didn't charm the blue buff, so it didn't fully reset.
What about
That
okay
is-
over there, but still.
That's personal growth, Jolly. We love to see that here for Proving Grounds. That's what it's all about. Proving yourself
Instantaneous.
and getting better as a team. Yeah, it really was instantaneous. Just as soon as he made the mistake, all right, I'm never ever doing that again. Sometimes you just got to learn the hard way. As
Yeah.
Speaking of the hard way, Philip having a hard time in this matchup keeping Bradley away from that turret. 2 plates in isolation before the Rift Herald's even attempted.
And Philip does have exhaust on this one. We talked about that in the previous game. A nice little event horizon there is going to deal some solid damage onto Harry. But that means that Philip, if he has to make some of these recalls like we just saw, he's got to take the long walk. And if you're Scion, it feels especially long given that big character profile. He's still doing all right. He is behind about 20 creep, though. And that means that Bradley has more of an early opportunity to make some roams.
It's a long train ride if you ult there, like Philip just did. Oh no, he's the lumberjack Scion. I think it is still a walk if you're on that skin. I'm so used to the
that's
mecha
true.
one. But yeah, he does have to use his ultimate just to get back to lane in a meaningful amount of time, as Team Liquid's top jungle duo are able to steal away this Rift Herald from under their noses, smiting that eye there for Armeo, and it's to walk out safely. Spyrax none the wiser until it's far too late. UJ has level 6 though. Look at this. We're watching him right now. We'll see if he can make a play.
Especially with the recall coming through out of Armeo, might be a good opportunity. You know, he's not going to actually push forward on that one. The bottom lane for his team just a little too far behind. We can see Diamond trying to move up, though. Ward directly on top of Ward. You love to see something like that. That is predictive planning from a team.
It's true. For Team Liquid, they're going to try to stretch their advantage a bit further, and you feel like they want to hit the pedal to the metal a lot faster than the last game for sure. They don't have Zeri this time around. And while Toma was dealing a lot of damage on the late game Xayah, it's less so than a crit Xayah certainly would, and Yon, just like his opponent in the previous game, is going for lethality. So you want to be able to get into those team fights earlier rather than later, and you want your burst to be able to stick, which is hard to do once you get super late game and Scion has like 3 or 4 items. Then you're not really resetting on that guy.
Oh yeah, it makes it very difficult with that pickup. But for the rest of the team, you've got a lot of options, a lot of availability to just lock down some of these members and deal massive amounts of damage while also keeping yourself alive as this Xayah. Okay, maybe they don't agree with me, all right? I am a Gale Force gamer, though. That's particularly why I love that item. I think it's completely busted, especially for Xayah in particular, given the repositioning, but you don't necessarily need it. We only saw one instance in the previous game where Toma was not able to actually get the proper positioning after using the Feather Storm so the Blade Caller could come through, but it wasn't the end of the day or the end of the game for them. A lot of damage as the Paranoia comes out from Yuji, but the Spirit Rush and the Flash allows Harry to get out.
Yeah, lots of movement there from Harry. Actually does survive this time, unlike the last game. He's having a lot of struggles there. This could be an engage. Yuji's going with the fear. Actually got out of range.
Battle dance, battle dance. It is the lockdown right there. Spirax says, take this event horizon, try to avoid it, but it's just Armeo. As Harry comes back into lane here, has picked up the Dark Seal, so is once again feeling confident on this Ahri moving forward, and especially with a low cooldown on the ultimate like that, you gotta feel pretty good. Philip, you're getting, literally circles run around Philip right now by Bradley. Of course, this lane is just going to be pretty back and forth until we actually get to a team fight stage.
That's so hilarious. Bradley knows he doesn't care about these minions. Those are going to fall eventually. Just let me walk around and take some turret plating. I got the hull breaker so early into this game. We are breaking the hulls, Jolly, here for Bradley on this Trundle. Very exciting stuff. And by exciting, I mean he's going to hit the turrets in this game many times with that cloak.
Yeah, it's only so exciting on this Trundle until we get into the later games, until you get those really cool pillar opportunities.
Wow.
Harry just barely able to dodge the event horizon on that one. No
Boosted.
flash needed. He doesn't have it, of course. Now Armeo moving forward. That Hallowed Mist helping him get a little bit of additional speed. A beautiful charm.
Ooh.
Follow it up with that damage. Spyrax flashes into the wall. Ends up going down here to Harry. The Shelly does come out of the Rift Herald, but Yuji's able to stay alive, and Armeo so close to going down.
Man, they know the range of that turret very well. As Yon gets ignited.
That is
Oh.
huge. She's gonna have to be an ultimate to herself. Diamond says, I can wild growth me. Hopefully that'll be enough time. And Jan says, absolutely not. I am Zaya.
You know what, Jolly? I don't know if he could have done that without the serrated Dirk. I think this might be some evidence that you need to change your ways here, because Jan had so much damage right there onto Diamond. The burst is insane with the lethality this early. We're going to take a look at this mid lane play one more time. Harry able to find the charm, and while the resets don't quite work because they're underneath this turret, I want to take a look at how they were able to just stay outside of the range for the vast majority of that one. I really like the play there from Team Liquid. They even get some turret platings with the Rift Herald as well, just a massive gold swing, and there's the Zaya one more time.
Oh, it's just so good. Such a wide range, too. Even if a 2v1 situation, we've seen it happen now both times. FlyQuest in game 1, a 3v2, where Tomo came out ahead, picking up a kill. And then on the opposite side now, Jan says, yeah, go ahead. It is a relatively long cooldown on the ultimate. That is one saving grace here for FlyQuest Academy, but it's more than halfway off of that now. And it's another dragon spawning that Team Liquid makes the first move on.
Feels like a larger lead and a faster lead this time as Harry in the fight.
Oh my goodness, way in the fight is going to be able to spirit rush away from that one. Yuji walks right into Ayla, though, who's going to be able to pick up a kill. In the meantime, Armeo says, that's fine, I will stick onto this dragon. Ayla and Harry very deep in the enemy jungle. A nice charm there onto Tomo, but it's not going to be enough. The momentum, the mobility is in favor of FlyQuest on this fight. Diamond flashing forward. It's another pickup there by Tomo.
And Tomo is so quick on this Zeri right now, Jolly, able to run all around rampant on this champion thanks to the ultimate and the Trinity Force movement speed. Beautiful stuff there on this champion. It turns out Jan is not the only Zeri pilot in this series. We do see Team Liquid. They take another dragon. They've been very good about that. Counting last game, that's 6 in a row, I believe. So good job for Team Liquid as they're trying a response.
You're absolutely right there, but now it's a scary situation here for Tomo and Diamond. Diamond not able to supply much, does have the wild growth. There's the pop on that. Yuji coming in behind, doesn't have Paranoia up and available, and it's 1 for Armeo, 1 for Jan, 2 for 0 in favor of Team Liquid on that fight.
Yuji can't do a lot to save his team. Whoa, he's hanging out. Just saying, hey, trading some spells there as Yuji, again, can't do much for his team right there, especially without the ultimate. We'll just have to walk away and watch his bottom lane fall, and including the turret, as Jan is able to deal a lot of damage to that one. Has the Eclipse now, moving toward the Muramana, and this is really dangerous all of a sudden here for FlyQuest. This is, like I was saying before, a much faster lead that's been growing here for Team Liquid. A lot of that is because of these early game champions in the Ahri and the Viego able to run around and make all these plays happen, but it's partially because of Bradley's Hullbreaker in the top lane. That has got to be a reason why these objective bounties are already here.
Oh, for sure. And gold in favor of them now by about 4,000. Well, actually, close to 5,000 now for Team Liquid, so you feel pretty good considering they need a little bit of that early lead for themselves to ensure that Tomo doesn't pick things up in the later part of the game. It's Ayla who jumps into the opposite side with that grand entrance, immediately says, okay, I got to battle dance back over. Out comes the pain train, out also comes the paranoia. That means that Harry will be the target, but that is all FlyQuest can take from this fight.
Good play. I didn't quite see if Harry had his flash available when he was jumped on, but he certainly does now. Didn't use it, and Philip lands the ultimate. So I do believe, Jolly, our Rift Herald for this game is part peacock, with the way it is strutting its back feathers there.
Oh, it's a flashy one. That's a flashy one. And that is the second as well there coming for Team Liquid. So they have had a really heavy focus on these objectives from the very start of the game. We saw that first dragon was taken the second that it spawned out in Infernal, which really helped supply Team Liquid with some extra damage that they needed on some of these 1 versus 2 situations that they found themselves in. We'll have to see if the contest comes out of FlyQuest now. Maybe some recalls. They have to be aware that this objective is being taken.
They definitely have this vision if they can walk forward, but they're not going to choose to do so. That ward that they've got in that topside river brush canceled out by the control ward, and Armeo gets to steal away this objective. Again, under their noses, 2 for 2 on those Rift Heralds, 2 for 2 on Dragons. It's been a complete full house for Armeo. I guess he needs one more Dragon if we're
one
using
more.
poker terms. Yeah, it'd be 3 and 2. We'll see if he can do that.
I mean, hey, if you have 2 Dragons and 2 Rift Heralds in a house, it's probably going to feel pretty full. They're absolutely massive, right? Throw a Baron on top of it and you're feeling pretty good. But there has to be some sort of response. I mean, it could be a very big house. That's a good point. But, you know, you have now FlyQuest sitting in a situation where you have to make a move on the next objectives. You can't just keep handing things over to Team Liquid Academy like they have been, especially now that you have some of these later game champions. You've got the Trundle able to stack some things up. You've got the Viego, who hasn't gone down a single time yet, and you've also got Yon, who has the support of Ayla, who has been absolutely standout player by far. I gotta jump on the hype train, at least for this game in particular with you, Smacks.
Ooh.
There it is.
Keep it right.
Ayla goes in for another one as I'm talking about him. He decides to try to make a play. It's a nice little response right there. Yuji gets the wild growth thrown on him. Diamond able to proxy out a little bit of this with their own polymorph. And Tomo manages to dodge away from the blade caller after the feather storm comes out. So much damage on Yon. Tomo doing a great job with this Zeri.
Yeah, nice try there from Yamba. Tomo too slippery right now. Oh my god. Diamond just took so much damage just from a couple of Xayah spells thanks to the Eclipse. Got the Rift Herald mid lane right now, Jolly, and this shows us that Team Liquid are going to take the mid lane turret. And here is the Nocturne ultimate.
Nocturne, Scion ultimate onto the backside. We'll see who they can grab, and it's a nice target acquisition right there to ensure that Armeo is the first one to go down. Philip has to try to back away from this fight. Harry is on the backside. The flash forward, the charm is going to miss though because the flash response by Spyrax and Tomo ensures that they stay alive. Tomo popping back with a little bit of damage. Can't move too far forward. You have to watch out for Ayla there and his grand entrances.
Oh, what a stun.
Nice stun, though. The Event Horizon, and it's the ultimate from Spyrax that's going to be able to pick the one up. Ayla will be the next target. The Trundle Pillar, not enough to save the life of that support, but it will be enough for Bradley to get out with his life.
Oh, are they looking for Baron right now, Jolly? I think they are. All 5 members of FlyQuest Academy are still alive. Bradley, Armeo, and Harry have to try to mount a defense. Luckily for Armeo, he's got the Hex Gate, so we can get here a bit faster, and FlyQuest may be acknowledging this, going to be more hesitant about this objective.
There they go. They're going to break away, though. Bradley steps a little too far forward. It's a nice charm coming out of Harry. Wild growth once again popping out. It's on to Tomo this time. And even 2 members alone from Team Liquid were able to push 5 away from the Baron.
That team fight was really good for FlyQuest, but perhaps a bit more risky to go for the Baron instead of the Dragon. We get to watch this play one more time. Look at the wonky Scion ultimate. He bounces off of the Trundle Pillar. I don't think Armeo was expecting that. I don't think Bradley was expecting that. I would even wager, I don't even think that Philip was expecting that to happen, but it certainly did. And we have the outcome because of this. FlyQuest completely winning that team fight. And yeah, like I was saying, they went over to Baron. I think if they go over to Dragon instead, it's a lot safer. And because it's a Hex map as well, they're going to be able to take that with enough time to not worry about Armeo and the rest of Team Liquid coming back onto the map a bit faster than normal.
And that means that right as soon as the opportunity arises for the Baron to go down, it is taken right by FlyQuest, which, yeah, that's fantastic if you can get away with that. But now on the other side, Team Liquid is at soul point. They need one more Dragon. We know they're not going to waste any time in going for that. A nice little grand entrance right there by Ayla to stay away from Spyrax's Event Horizon, but we know how short the cooldown is on that guy, and the longer this game goes on, the shorter it is. FlyQuest looking for a fight.
And the Recon player in me winces every time Event Horizon is popped near Ayla. Oh, I get so sad. It's like PTSD back when I was trying to climb the ladder. I just banned Vhagar most of the time because it's just completely unplayable. At least for me. Ayla is a lot better than I am at League of Legends. Surprise, surprise. So I'm sure he's going to be able to find a way out of it. He needs to. If they want to keep moving in this game, Jolly, they are still at match point on the side of Team Liquid Academy. They still have this major lead, and they're one Drake away from Hextech Soul too. You thought the Infernals were dealing a lot of damage before. Now that, but also Static Shiv onto everybody. That's what's going to happen if Team Liquid achieve that Drake Soul, and from there they likely will get the 2-0 in this series.
Yeah. Oh, that's not the way you want to start. And of course, Spyrax is gonna go in. Yuji immediately follows that one up with some damage in the Paranoia. 2 ultimates go down though for FlyQuest, and they just make it out alive.
I'm going to expose myself right now, Jolly. As a color caster, I did not know that Viego's ultimate did not get stopped by Veigar Cage. This is news to me. I thought that he was going to get stunned right there, but yeah, literally.
Exactly. Spyrex's heart was broken on that one, that's for sure. Our Mayo was in a pretty tricky situation, but ends up getting out with his life. Like I said, I mean, 2 ultimates that go down from FlyQuest, only the one from our Mayo. In the meantime, we'll see if that root can come through. It's the stun, it's the root. Bradley taking a lot of damage, but he's able to sustain a lot of it. The pillar gonna send Spyrex away from this fight. Philip should be able to clean it up, and it actually ends up going over to Diamond with the Ignite.
3 members to take down the hull-breaking Trundle means that Team Liquid can potentially look for this objective. Yuji wasn't one of them, and he still has ultimate. Or he doesn't have ultimate, actually, my mistake. But he was not there on the bottom side of the map, and Team Liquid now worried they might have just leashed over the Baron.
We'll have to see. Ayla is very low. Doesn't really have an opportunity to go in on this one. Xayah is going to be able to use the Feather Storm, but the Blade Caller hits no one, and it's a split fight. The Polymorph onto Ayla right there. It's both Yan and Ayla who end up going down, though. The response here now, Harry finds a charm, but you don't want a charm. Philip, who can just walk away from you. Tomo dashing over the wall, and triple kill for that. Zeri and FlyQuest Academy now finally have secured themselves the Baron opportunity.
And 1 pick turned into 5 right away, Jolly. Diamond.
Oh
Wait, they can't even do this. Oh no!
I mean, that's gonna be a reset on the Baron. Bradley says, hey, I can at least stop it for a moment. Philip barely stays alive. No way, he doesn't, because the Baron was still aggroed. Philip, there's his pass, and he just gets to dance away into the gray screen.
Oh man. Let's watch this replay one more time. we get to see our Mayo. He's really trying to get these resets off. He's not a part of this fight in a very big way until the very end. And he uses Heartbreaker right there to try to get the last hit down. Didn't think that he had enough damage, but had he kept going, he might have been able to clean that one up. Not the case. We get to watch Bradley. With the help of Baron, make sure that FlyQuest don't get the objective. Oh, Philip.
So rough. It looked good. It really did look good. He supplied what he needed to, but all it takes is one single tick, and that poison's definitely gonna do it. I honestly did not think the Baron was still aggroed at that point.
Me either.
He might not have either. That's probably the case. So he thought, yes, I got out. Oh, no, I did not.
FlyQuest, though, they do take a pretty big fight, and they take a pretty big gold swing at the same time. Tomo does have a lot of scaling on this Zeri. He's been team fighting very well on it. One could even say Zeri well on this champion. He's going to need to keep that one going if FlyQuest's going to keep themselves on the upper side of the bracket after this game continues. Of course, they still have to win 2 games in this series to do so, but it starts right now.
And it's looking a little bit harder and harder. They are going to be able to at least stop out that Dragon Soul from going over so quickly. But in the meantime, let's take a look at the Baron. 3 separate times, I believe, FlyQuest attempted to take this one, and it was countered each time by Team Liquid. And Team Liquid says, yeah, okay, we've got an opportunity. You guys want to take the Dragon? Perfect. We wanted this Baron anyway.
And there's even though Trundle is a top laner in this game, there's a reason he's traditionally played in the jungle. He kills those camps so fast. And with the Divine Sunder, it's even faster with all the attack speed that comes from the Frozen Domain. That is a quick Baron secure for Team Liquid Academy. And they are more than happy to trade that dragon away so they can have the big purple buff on their side. And we'll see if I can take any of those big prizes, those being the inhibitor turrets that would help them close out this game and the series as well.
Well, lucky for TL and TL fans, they are the only ones that actually have any towers in this game. Only one single objective has been taken by FlyQuest Academy, and that is just the Dragon. So when it comes to overall pressure and Baron being in the hands of a Team Liquid, it becomes pretty devastating. And we can see even just the confidence Harry has to go solo. We saw Ayla taking some of those little hex tech, taking a long journey for himself, and they don't even care if they get picked out or caught out because the response time from Team Liquid is just so dang fast. Now, let us see as we can see Paranoia coming through. It's going to be on to Harry, who flashes forward. A beautiful charm, and Harry gets out of there no problem.
That's the ultimate used from Nocturne, but it's a much shorter cooldown than Harry's flash, so certainly worth it if they can punish that one in the future. Harry, again, sort of getting picked off in this series. He's been doing that quite a few times in this game. Again, a lot of credit to Spyrax, who's playing this Vhagar and really setting that up. But Harry needs to be more careful. And the Zonias, he's learning now as well. More learning for Harry in this series. You can't just Zonias. You will still get stunned by Event Horizon, so at least he does not make that mistake. Turret destruction on the other side of the Rift here for Team Liquid as they take the mid lane turret, and Bradley threatening to do more top.
Nice little polymorph right there with a lot of damage onto Armeo, who's going to be able to use the stopwatch. Same thing right there with Ayla, but Ayla is in a much stickier situation. No blast cone available for them to save their life, so they will get taken down. Another kill for Tomo.
And Ayla was trying to get over that wall to just pop the blast cone, as we do get to see an engage onto Bradley. Let's see if he can outplay this.
Bradley doing a lot of damage to Tomo. Philip trying to take the front line of this. It's Diamond who's trying to do something here. A nice pillar to cut off the team, but Tomo finds yet another kill, sitting at 8, 2, and 4.
That was really close for Bradley. You saw how much damage he was dealing. And if he got into the range of Tomo, then he might have been able to deal all that extra damage and get the healing off too with the Divine Sunder, but just not quite there. And this is another successful pick from FlyQuest Academy, Jolly. Tomo this time getting involved and getting more kills onto this Zeri. It's not the big hulking tank Zeri that we saw Yon play before. This is more focused on DPS, and AoE DPS at that too. He does have the Runed's Hurricane just to make sure he's getting all of this damage off, because his team doesn't really have a lot of it on this side. That's the big difference here from Tomo, Zeri, and Yon's.
It's a very good point. It's a lot of damage that is supplied, though, by Tomo. The charm is going to miss, and it's a big ulti from Spyrax that's going to secure yet another kill. And once again, it is Harry that's getting caught out on the side of Team Liquid.
Harry again finding struggles in this Ahri versus Vhagar matchup. I wonder if he's going to feel the same way as me after this game and just ban Vhagar in every single one of his solo queue games, because I'm sure he is getting frustrated. But for now, Team Liquid need to have that presence in their team yet again. They need to be there saying, hey, don't panic. It's okay. We still have a big advantage. We can still win this game. I say that, and FlyQuest are getting a lot of objective bounties. That's 3 turrets in one fell swoop.
That is huge considering they had none for themselves. Only a 3,000, actually we're closer to 2,500 gold lead now in favor of Team Liquid Academy. At 30 minutes in the game, that is basically nothing, Smacks. So things are definitely looking good in the second half of this game, especially considering how far ahead it appeared that Team Liquid got themselves. But all of these pickoffs, all of these kills have really allowed for the latter half of the game to at least go in favor objective-wise for FlyQuest.
Starting to get some deja vu from last game, though, Jolly. FlyQuest getting back into this game, but in the previous one, they couldn't quite manage it because they gave up the Drake Soul. Oh, wait,
Bradley goes in. We'll have to see. The subjugate is used, but the teleport is also coming through from Harry. Spyrax has to run away from this one. The Spirit rush forward. Spyrax is the target. It's a Zonia's, though. Harry is going to use one of his own, but you're not going to survive that. Spyrax picks up the kill. Bradley now has to be on the run because it is a 3v1. FlyQuest once again find themselves something good, but on the other side of the map, that is Dragon Soul going over to Team Liquid. Yuji ends up using Paranoia to try to lock down Bradley here. He's able to sustain so much damage, though, so Yuji does have to be careful. The speed in favor of Bradley now that ultimate has been expended by Yuji.
Yeah, I don't think Yuji was going to win that 1v1 at all. However, though, Jolly, because Yuji participates in this skirmish in the top side, it gives over the Drake Soul to Team Liquid Academy. They give over Harry. He gets picked off yet again, this time trying to protect his comrade. That's 4 Drakes. And Team Liquid have so much power thanks to the Hextech Soul. Is Tomo? He's really fast. We have to be really careful here on the side of Team Liquid. I say we as if I'm playing. I'm just an Ayla fan. I'm not actually on the team or anything.
It certainly feels that way. You know, hey, we're covering the stories of these players. We got to do research on them. We got to kind of get to know them. So it is a very personal sort of feeling. And it feels good, though, for FlyQuest, if you're a fan or if you are a player, if you're a caster, I don't care, to watch this team who was expected pretty heavily to lose in a 2-0 situation, finding some sort of recovery. But you're right, Smacks. It doesn't come through that easily because we saw FlyQuest closing the gap between them and Team Liquid in the last game, and TL still able to close it out after 40.
And I do want to be clear, I am also a FlyQuest Academy fan. I love these boys. I love this team. but they are definitely struggling right now. There's a teleport flank arriving, and this is just for more pressure onto the Baron. Team Liquid just got an inhibitor in the bottom lane, so FlyQuest now has to worry about those super minions alongside winning this team fight, which can be very tricky. Let's see if Philip can get back onto the Rift in time. He has teleport thanks to his Keystone rune.
Yeah, no more exhaust for him. He does have that TP, and it was definitely a situation where he had to recall. He actually ends up having to move his way down, though. He leaves the base before even getting full health because he has to focus on these minions that have pushed through from that bottom side, and that means there's no opportunity for Philip to make a TP up. I'm actually kind of surprised Team Liquid didn't try to take more advantage of that. Out comes Paranoia. It's a nice Feather Storm into a Blast Cone to ensure that Jan takes no damage.
And that play happens because of the sneaky wards that FlyQuest were able to place into this side of the map as well. Look at all of that. It's just peppered with blue little specks onto this Rift. As FlyQuest, they've got one in the pit as well. Armeo is here. We'll see if Armeo can try to steal this away. They have Bradley stationed into the enemy team's base, but they can't do a whole lot unless they get the objective.
FlyQuest's been trying so hard to get the Baron, and even in a situation where they're at the end of the fight, it gets stolen away by Armeo, who Heartbreaker's over the wall. Another pickup right there. It's going to be by Harry, and Jan manages to find another kill for themselves. Thank you for the leash, FlyQuest. We will take that, says Team Liquid.
Oh, they're just too good, Jolly. This one is over. If they can get into the base, they have the Baron up minions. A super one in the base already, thanks to Bradley. Look at all this damage. Lethal Tempo is whacking away at Philip. He's got an ult to the base.
Oh my gosh, he's got to ult 2 feet forward. Spear Axe will end up going down here. Armeo able to steal that soul. Now Vagar for a little bit longer, and this is absolutely the end of the game. Philip can't do anything to send these surviving members of Team Liquid away. It wasn't as definitive as we might have thought, but it was a 2-0 sweep here in favor of Team Liquid Academy.
It was far from fast, but they get there in the end, and it is clean there for Team Liquid Academy. 2-0. No blemishes on their record so far in Proving Grounds Spring 2022, and this team is on fire, as they have been since Ayla rejoined the team. They're keeping that streak going. They will go further into this tournament on the upper side. They're going to the upper semi.
And that means that based on double elimination, the fact that we are looking at the upper side of the bracket right now, FlyQuest, they're not entirely out of it. They put up a good showing. They get to go down now to the lower bracket and will likely have an easier run there, given the fact that most of the, all of the amateur teams are down there. Just a few other academy teams who have fallen down previously. But of course, we've got another series after this, so the day does not end here, Smacks.
Yeah, I'm checking right now to see who their opponents are. I believe it is the winner of Evil Genius's Prodigies and No Team. And that one is going to be played tomorrow. So FlyQuest Academy, they get to find out who they're playing tomorrow. And you know, they had a pretty good showing today. I think they can feel good about that one, going up against one of the tournament favorites here in Team Liquid Academy. It was going to be a tough match. They showed some really good growth all across the board. And I think specifically Spyrax, even though he's not playing the Assassins, that Vagar looked so annoying to play against. I said it a lot of times in that game.
Yeah.
Anytime the Event Horizon popped up, I was like, yeesh, that is going to be hard to team fight through. Team Liquid still did it, but will the other teams in this tournament be able to? I don't know.
Yeah, it did provide a lot of support. I do, of course, have to call out that duo Lane and Tomo and Diamond, who were really standout. Tomo as that saving grace player, the one who was stacked up, jacked up in both games for that 2-0 series. So definitely don't lose eyes on this team just yet. And of course, you can't if you're watching LCS, if you're watching Academy, because they're going to show up again in the lower bracket. We're just going to have to see who they go up against. But hey, that series is over, and we're moving on to our second one of the day. After a quick break, it's going to be Dignitas Academy going into Cloud9 Academy, another favored team here on the Academy side. So stay put. We'll be back with more Proving Grounds.